Hi Navya.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good. How have you been?
I'm good. I was just thinking, let's just wait for some more people to join in. And then, maybe we can start with the questions. So, till then, you can tell me how are you, handling lockdown there?
Well, to be honest, it's been quite a good time just relaxing, cooking, spending loads of time doing what I enjoy doing rather than, forcing myself to get on with my day. So, in some ways, this time has given us the opportunity to reflect on what's important and just take things as they come, I suppose.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, it's actually given us a lot of time to reflect, and, we can do a lot during this time. And I use the first question that I'm going to ask you is that I believe you do a job in marketing. So I wanted to understand that you without an background in fashion, how did you think of starting your career in fashion designing and especially saris? I mean, what was the
Well,
thought behind?
it's true that I'm not trained in design or have any technical background or specialism when it comes to fashion design or any kind of design for that matter. However, I feel a creative mind can always use that creativity. No matter what medium they want it into. So for me, I was always creatively inclined, and the pressure for making a career at the time made me decide to do marketing because I thought from a business point of view that was the closest and where I could use my creative skills. Having said that, that urge to do something in design was always with me, and slowly I just started, making clothes, and sari was the best thing to start with because it was like 5.5 meters long, which gave me
Yeah.
a big canvas, a long canvas to just bring all my creative energy into and bring it to life. And that's how it started. I think it helps if you have a technical uh, background, if you have that qualification, but that should not stop someone for trying something that they feel passionately about, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that's true. But you have a beautiful collection of saris, and do you actually remember the first sari that you designed, the color that you picked, or something?
Yes, I do actually. The very first sari that I designed from a commercial point of view was an off-white modal silk sari, which had the colors of autumn leaves on him, and they were 4 to 5 big autumn florals, and I had embellished it with a silver gotapatti and a purple brocade blouse, and that was the first sari that I sold for over 150 euros to somebody on Instagram within 2 days of me posting it, and I still have the picture of that sari. That's a sari that my sister wore and posed for me, and I remember it so vividly.
Ayush, as we were talking about, how you started your career in fashion, what would be the tips that you would give to students, right now aspiring to be designers, and how they can, actually consume the time right now during coronavirus and focus on their career?
Well, I firstly would like to say I'm not an expert in this, so I can just talk of my experience, and hopefully people can take something away from it. I think it's extremely important for anybody to have a voice and a vision and to stick to it, because in this day and age when information is readily available, the biggest challenge with everybody has is to create something that is unique and different. And that pressure of coming up or creating pieces that are unique and different sometimes leads us to an unnecessary way of just making things for the sake of it. And I think everybody should avoid doing that. If you are true to your craft, if you are true to what you believe in, and if you relentlessly showcase that, not worrying about who the audience will be or how will it be received, I guess that's how when people will find you and notice you and you'll find an audience, because nowadays everybody has the luxury of being on social media, and people can very quickly spread the awareness about their work, and which makes things easily accessible for everybody. So I would say to anybody who's wanting to come to fashion scenario, is make sure that they have understood what they stand for, what they believe in, and then pursue their craft relentlessly without worrying about whether it's good enough or bad enough, because somebody somewhere will appreciate what you're doing and will find you.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very good time, and I feel like everyone, can take inspiration and actually focus on their, their speciality rather than just, just copying something and everything. This is a really good time for creativity and to
Well,
practice your art.
precisely, normally we are so busy with our jobs, other things that we need to do day in and day out. This is a time when you're actually sitting at home. So if you have an idea, this is the time to work on it, to bring it to life, and pursue it even further. So when we come out of this lockdown, perhaps you're ready. So for instance, if you want to learn about a particular craft or kind of work, this is a good time to read up on it, look at videos, webinars, learn about that craft, practice a few things, brush up on your knowledge. There's no excuse just now. We have the luxury of time, which I feel is the most important thing ever.
So actually, what I was going to ask you is that during coronavirus, a lot of stores have been shut, but however, you operate online and mainly through your channel. So how is your brand getting affected during the time of coronavirus? Like, if you would like to highlight some point on that.
Well, in some ways, this pandemic has affected me in several ways, as it would have other brands as well. Firstly, the production has come to a halt just now because I work with loads of small craftsmen who live in villages, and so most of them aren't able to work because they aren't able to go out. There is lack of materials that's available. Secondly, customers have held back from making orders because nobody knows how or when they will be able to go out to festivities and parties, so people aren't buying as many clothes. And also, people who are buying, I'm not able to fulfill the delivery because logistically I'm not able to send the clothes anywhere just now because all the courier companies are closed. So everything has just completely, all of a sudden, has just stopped. But how I have used this time is to work on projects that I wanted to work on but never had the opportunity. So my karigars who are sitting at home with just a single, a stand or something, I'm working on elaborate designs with them, which normally they wouldn't have the time to do because we have to fulfill orders. But now we all have that luxury. So in some ways, we all have taken a step back, but we are creating some more beautiful, more elaborate, more defined pieces, which I feel is a good thing to do. So everybody is getting that time. From a business point of view, commercially, it's not very good, but from a creative point of view, I think it's still very fulfilling, and that hasn't stopped me from making wonderful things.
Yeah. Actually, my next question was, how brands can be relevant at this time, and I mean, you've already answered that in your own way that you're actually working on a lot of intricate words and everything. Would you like to tell us some particular designs that you're working on right now?
Well, I have. I recently came across some very old vintage pictures of some ancient embroidery, which was in the 1920s, 1930s era, the Mughal embroidery, and I was absolutely fascinated by them. But to kind of recreate them or to work on them, it's a very tedious process. There's loads of trial and error, and it's very, very expensive. However, this time, because the last 2 months I've had that opportunity, I have been able to work with my karigars in bringing them back to life in some of my saris. So I'm very, very excited about them.
And when it comes to Indian crafts, which are one of your favorite crafts that you like working with, and if there's something that you're working for your upcoming collection you would like to highlight?
Well, to be honest, India has got such a big variety of crafts. To name a few, like kalamkari, patola, Banarsi, Kanjivaram, Ghatchola, Bandhani. There are so many of them, but my two particular favorite ones, I would believe, are Kalamkari and Patola. Kalamkari simply because, and the amount of work that goes into producing a Kalamkari sari is completely unbelievable. People spend so many hours and days kind of putting it together, and it goes through a rigorous 17-step process, and that always is a special thing in my heart. And when you look at a kalamkari sari, it's almost like a piece of art. Like this painting here is actually a leftover of my sari. That's how beautiful it is. I just love kalamkari. That's one of my most favorite crafts, if you like.
Okay, so as we're talking about kalamkari art right now, I wanted to understand, as you explained that it's a hand painted, the art is done all by hand. When it comes to taking care of kalamkari saris, washing it or wearing it, what would be the tips that you would give for kalamkari clothes and saris especially?
Firstly, I would say it's best to dry wash them as much as possible. If you are still going to hand wash them, it's always best to hand wash them in very lukewarm water with the softest of detergents, nothing very, very corrosive or harsh. Secondly, if you ever wear the sari and you get them ironed, don't just fold it and put it away as soon as you iron the sari. Because what happens is kalamkari is boiled in milk, and if you do that, the sari catches fungus, so it needs to breathe. It does not need to have any humidity or vapor in it. So let it dry completely, and it's best to wrap it in a malmal cloth and put it away. And if you've not worn it for a long time, then I would advise you to take it out in 5 to 6 months, leave it out on the bed for a day or two, and then put it back in again. And loads of people have a problem with the smell that kalamkari comes with. It has got a peculiar smell which can put people off. So what I always tell my customers is, if you want to wear the sari, let's Sunday, just open it up on Friday, leave it outside, and if possible, light an incense stick around it, and you'll see the smell decreases considerably when you come to wear it on Sunday. So you can do that.
We were talking about kalamkari, and you were telling me that it was, it's boiled with milk and everything. I was actually quite stunned and surprised to know that, because I have seen the videos of kalamkari art. I've seen kalamkari in real life, but I had no idea about the milk part. Well, that's some really good information that we got from this live session today.